Warren, what's your reaction to that? Obviously, comfortable first half, and then any worries after that?
Yeah, that's my reaction. You know, it was pretty comfortable in the first half, and in fairness to Scotland, they've come out and put us under a lot of pressure in the second half, and you know, we've lost the second half 5-3, but we've showed some real character. There's a couple of opportunities we didn't take, but you know, Scotland did put us under a lot of pressure, and you know, we had some penalties that we gave away and a few turnovers and stuff, and that kept the pressure on us. But I thought we showed some great character. I thought our bench again was good, and you know, there was a couple of moments when Scotland were attacking, and you know, we defensively towards the end, you know, we drove them back and kept them out. So I'm pleased from that aspect. Yeah.
Obviously now one game away from a Grand Slam. Exciting for you?
Yeah, I think any team that's won a Grand Slam, and even Ireland last year with that Johnny Sexton drop goal, you'll look back on games and in this competition, and you'll know that, you know, you've had a little bit of luck, and so you know, I don't know whether from a coaching perspective whether we needed to be a bit tougher at half time, and maybe we were talking half time that we were pretty comfortable and going out and delivering a second half, and you know, as a result maybe we were thinking about next week, thinking about that Irish game, and Scotland, you know, had a few injuries and they showed some real character. Had to make a lot of tackles in that second half, and that was tough, and you know, it was definitely a game of two halves and a tough test match.
Warren, after, you know, the week the players had to show that resilience later on, is that something that typifies this team, do you think?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. This is a fantastic group of men, and I think they're pretty tight and pretty close. There's no doubt that Monday and Tuesday and the week, you know, has had an impact on the players, and we didn't train very well on Tuesday. We didn't defend very well, and it's normally our big defensive day, and as a result we've had to back up a bit on Thursday and Friday just to try and tidy some stuff up. So in fairness to the players, you know, after that early part of the week they've kind of got on with their job, but you know, there's obviously a lot of emotion involved with everyone. So, you know, look, I'll take my hats off to them about how they've dug deep, and we've spoken about forgetting how to lose, and winning's become a habit, and these guys have finding ways to dig deep, and I think in the past, under that sort of pressure, you know, I'm not sure we would have had the mental strength to keep them out, and but these guys are finding ways to do that, and that's what good sides do.
Alun Wyn, has it been a tough week for you as well, with all that's been swirling around?
It'd be easy to say yes, but I think as I sit here, if we'd been on the wrong end of the result, we still wouldn't use that as an excuse. And you know, like Gat said, we've got a group of young but experienced players with a strong leadership group as well. And like he said, it's affected everyone. It's not just the boys from the regions in question. There's obviously other repercussions. And like I say, credit to the leadership group. And the young guys in the squad that have just got on with the job. I think sometimes when that sort of stuff off field happens, you want an outlet, and our outlet has been the rugby this week. And credit to Scotland today. They put us to the sword at times, but like I say, the squad came through.
Alan, when you the squad gathered together in the circle at the end of the game, what was the general thing, what was said?
All the way through, we've been very real about our performances. I said when we spoke yesterday about fulfilling potential, and probably still haven't hit our straps, and we still feel that way. I think every time we go out there, we want to get better. Every day we train, the coaches put it on us to get better. And I think today probably epitomises, you know, where we've been over the last 12 months. We probably haven't hit our straps. We've been under pressure, but we came through, particularly as everyone's knowledge of the week. You know, it's been probably the forefront of it rather than the rugby, and we still feel there's something brewing. Whatever happens next week, you know, this squad is going to go beyond that as well. So we've got to be very real, and we are.
Warren, is the injury to Liam Williams, and if he is out next week, is Lee Halfpenny ready for?
Liam is just a stinger, and he's come through, and he's pretty good. So he's nothing serious.
Warren, thoughts on Scotland, and when you look at them, what do you think the difference is between this side and teams like yourself that are continually challenging for championship?
I think with Scotland, they had some injuries, and they've had injuries in this campaign, and it's just struggling a bit with the depth and experience, and that makes it's something that affected us in 2015, and our whole focus in the last 4 years has been putting ourselves under pressure, creating depth. We went to New Zealand in 2016. We got hammered by the Chiefs in a midweek game before the second test. It didn't help our test preparation, but that was a starting point from what those guys learned in that game. And we go to Italy and make 10 changes, and we continually have done that to put ourselves under pressure, because you can't coach experience, and you've got to get those guys out in the middle and do that. And that focus in that last 2 or 3 years has definitely paid us some huge dividends. When we're picking the team at the moment, we talk about the bench and the impact of the bench and how important that is, and individuals coming off the bench. In Scotland, just with the 2 teams and players playing outside of Scotland as well, and then they do pick up a few injuries. It's tough for them, and we've got a few banged up bodies in there as well. And I think going forward, this is a tough competition. Everyone's talked about potentially this going to a 5-week tournament. I mean, I don't think the Celtic nations or Italy could survive in a 5-week tournament, playing game after game. You need that respite period in the middle there to recover. I mean, England and France, no doubt, with their numbers could cope, but Scotland and Wales and maybe Ireland have got enough numbers at the moment, but we wouldn't. Just with the 4 teams, and Italy and Scotland definitely with the 2 teams would really struggle.
Warren, you touched on the team forgetting how to lose again. There were echoes in the second half of the game here 2 years ago. Do you think that's the difference now, is the levels of confidence or belief are that much higher 2 years on? Yeah,
I think what happens with players is you come under a bit of pressure, and sometimes you're trying to cover someone else or do something, and you probably get away from your task. But these guys have got that belief in their own stuff and the trust in your teammates to fulfil their roles, and that's incredibly important when you do come under pressure, and guys not making system errors or stepping out. I mean, Jonathan Davies probably has come a little bit hard on their try. They've executed that really well. Whether Gareth could have stayed out on that. So we've got some things to tidy up on, but it's that trust in your teammates that they're going to do their role, and that's what's incredibly important at the highest level. And the beauty about Test match rugby is that when you get a team who do believe and trust in each other, and you're just fulfilling your own role, it becomes a lot easier out there.
Alan, what were the messages from the referee in the second half? Because there were quite a lot of penalties, and is that an area to improve on for Ireland?
We knew discipline was going to be a factor. We said that at half time before we went out. We had a couple in the first half. I thought it a decent game on the whole, but it was just a case we did feel we gave a few easy ins. Whether there was a few rolling away pens that were called early or not is probably not for debate now. But it was probably more costly from ourselves rather than the ref or Scotland. And when you're a team that has expectations and potentially an eye on next week, which we tried not to have, you start playing with a team under pressure. And like Gat said, it's like treading water. The harder you try, sometimes the worse you look. And we probably tried a little bit hard in our second half.
Given everything that's been going on, what would a Grand Slam mean to you, and what you've achieved in your career? Where would it rank?
Enjoy tonight, and we'll worry about that when we see you this week.
Warren, a word back to your man of the match, Harvey Parks.
Oh, Parksy. I didn't realise he got man of the match.
Made enough tackles.
Yeah, no, he's done well in that first half, and carried the ball strongly. And look, I think any one of probably 30 or 40 players out there. I mean, there's a lot of good performances from Scotland as well, and some good impact from their bench. And it's probably a tough decision. It's only someone sitting in the commentary box who makes that call. So selection's a matter of opinion, and man of the matches are a matter of opinion as well.
Final one, please, James.
Or in your last match, last Six Nations match in Cardiff, the Grand Slam. Will there be emotion?
Yeah, absolutely. There'd be no doubt about that. It's my last Six Nations game for Wales. No, I'm not yeah, look, there's no doubt. I think Paddy's Day next week, is it? So the Irish will be chomping at the bit as well. So look, it's going to be a great occasion. You won't be able to get a ticket anywhere, and the competition's still open. You know, England think that if we get knocked over, they got a chance of winning, and Ireland will think the same as well. And you know, we want to win this championship, and the only way we can win this championship now is by getting the Grand Slam. So if we do that, I can promise you there will be some pretty serious celebrations afterwards. So, but you know, we've got to regroup, get home tomorrow, look at the banged up bodies, and plan as well as we can for this week. You know, the beauty about that is we do get another day in terms of prep over Ireland, because they play tomorrow, and so it's going to be a challenge for them. And we might need to readjust our week a little bit in terms of what we do this week, because we've got a few banged up bodies as well. So we'll just see how everyone is tomorrow, and then sort of a plan accordingly. But there'll be no lack of motivation, and if that Welsh crowd that turned up for us against England can do the same, and please, if they do that, there's no doubt that atmosphere and that drive and the motivation that they gave the players will have a significant impact on us next week. And I'm excited about it, looking forward to it, and it's a dream, and we can fulfil and do something pretty special as a group of players. And we're 13 in a row now, and if next week can be 14. And I'm a great believer in being the eternal optimist, and you break records and do things, and those are things that no one can ever take away from you. So it's kind of when you get those opportunities, you've got to grasp them with both hands, and you've got to go out there and not have any regrets. And I have no doubt that this group of players will not have any regrets next week in terms of the way that we prepare and play, and that Welsh crowd gets in behind us.